To welcome Taoiseach Martin, the leader of Ireland, and of course his lovely wife, and thank you both for being here. We're thrilled to be able to celebrate this moment of friendship between the United States and Ireland and really cement what is, I think, one of the great alliances and the great friendships between nations in the world. As I was telling the Taoiseach back in the library earlier, Usha and I actually took a trip to Ireland in October of 2023, a bit on a lark actually. Susan Collins, my dear friend from Maine, from the United States Senate, may remember that we were supposed to have a government shutdown. We didn't have a government shutdown, and so Usha and I actually had a week where we could go anywhere, and we decided to go to Ireland. And I just say it's such a remarkable combination of incredible community, as we were talking about earlier, of beautiful landscape, but also a lot of interesting technological growth. And I think that one of the more robust areas for us to work on with our Irish friends in the years to come is going to be technology, and particularly artificial intelligence, as I think really take the next stage in an important level of technological progress. Now, I want to give some acknowledgement of all the honored guests here. I can't, of course, call everybody out. I have to say thank you to Ashley and Brett Kavanaugh, Justice of the Supreme Court, and his wife for being here. Thank you to Mrs. Roberts for being here, Senator Sheehy, and of course the ambassador from Ireland, who I've met with before, but in a previous job. And let me just say before I introduce the Taoiseach that one of the things that we try to do with this breakfast is just remind people of the important bonds of friendship between the United States and Ireland. And I think it's a great opportunity to do that. It's also a really great opportunity for Usha to wear her pair of green pants. She's had these in the closet for years and finally gets to break them out. Perhaps the most honored guest, of course, except for the Taoiseach and his wife, is my dear friend from the United States Marine Corps, Colin Tiernan. He brought his brother, Joe. Good to see you, man. And here's the thing that Colin taught me when I was in the United States Senate. He taught me about sock diplomacy, about the importance of gifting socks to my fellow senators. Something that had, I'd give, Massachusetts socks to our friends from Massachusetts, and Utah socks to our friend from Utah. So, Colin, in your honor, I've worn these shamrocks. And I will say when we meet later in the Oval Office to the Taoiseach, the president is a very big fan of conservative dress. And so if he notices these socks, you have to defend me in the Oval Office and say, this is an important part of cementing the Irish-American relationship. And that's the only reason I'm wearing these socks. But we're thrilled to have you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Mr. Vice President, Second Lady, honoured guests, let me again begin by expressing my sincere thanks to President Trump and to you, Mr. Vice President, for continuing the time-honoured tradition of celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Washington and DC. And thank you, Second Lady, and thank you, Usha, for hosting this St. Patrick's Day breakfast in your residence. Mary and I greatly appreciate your warm welcome and hospitality. And I've learned something new this morning, the use of socks. I have to adjust very rapidly. Given my conservative kind of dress sense, my wife Mary can testify with too. And to some it may seem strange that I as Taoiseach choose to spend the first National Day here in the United States. But as you may know, Mr. Vice President, St. Patrick's Day, as it is celebrated today with great fanfare and flourish, began here in the United States. In times long past, Irish immigrants far from hearth and home marked the day in memory of the families that they had left behind. And over time, the celebrations grew in strength and number. And today, we are deeply proud that March 17th is a day to showcase our rich culture and great friendship from across the world. The United States has been a steadfast friend of Ireland for centuries. Indeed, the United States was the first country to recognise our long-sought independence. Last year, we marked 100 years of Irish-US diplomatic relations. Together, we have built deep and enduring political, cultural and economic bonds, greatly enriching our two nations in the process. First and foremost, our kinship was built upon the ties between our people, especially the generations of Irish who made their homes here. Scots-Irish immigrants, among them your forebears, Mr. Vice President, played a key role in shaping this great country, and Appalachia in particular. Many helped to build the railroads and contributed greatly to America's prosperity. Others brought the fiddle to meet the African banjo, blending the traditions of the immigrant communities who lived there to create something new, fresh, and exciting. I was fascinated to learn that in recent years, geologists discovered that the Appalachian Trail does not begin and end in North America. Part of it is in Ireland and Britain, split millions of years ago by the movement of tectonic plates. It is not so surprising then that Irish and Scottish immigrants, upon arrival in the United States, chose a familiar landscape on which to found their new lives. Irish Americans continue to make their mark on America, from politics to the arts to business, and they have helped to sustain our people-to-people ties and make a crucial contribution to our economic relationship. Ireland is now in the top 10 as a source of foreign direct investment into the United States, supporting many, many jobs across the country. And nowhere is the strength of the US-Irish relationship more in evidence than in our own peace process. And 44 years ago, President Reagan called for a just and peaceful solution to the conflict that has for so long devastated lives on our island. Politicians from both sides of the aisle rose to the occasion. And the lasting peace we enjoy today on our island is a signature achievement of US foreign policy. And this story of peace is one that we both wrote together. And we know that building peace is a difficult and painstaking task. And we are ready to play our part in support of work to end conflict and to secure peace in the Ukraine or in the Middle East or wherever. And we welcome very much the unrelenting focus and effort that President Trump and his administration has brought to this task, from his very first days in office. And we welcome the progress that is clearly being made. And as it has always been, the United States remains an indispensable partner and global actor. Mr. Vice President, I know that we care deeply about the world our children and our children's children inherit. And I know that the US and Ireland will continue to stand together, working tirelessly to secure a future that offers the promise of peace and prosperity. Mr. Vice President, as I wrap up, allow me to thank you and wish you once again for opening your home to us and through us to the people of Ireland. You have made us feel right at home in this splendid house on our first St. Patrick's Day together. And I hope that you will allow us to return the honour. And I've been told that our small island holds a special place in your shared memories, as you said to me earlier, that you enjoyed a road trip to Ireland. Now, the Vice President did say the road trip will be somewhat different next time round. A number of vehicles that might have to be attached. And you visited Ring of Kerry, Skibbereen, home of our Olympic champions, as I explained to the Vice President, Cashel and Dublin, and you tasted the delights, I believe, of the English market in Cork as well, and I'd love to bring you back there in particular. We would be honoured and delighted to welcome you both back to our shores before too long. And Mr. Vice President, I know you're partial to the game of golf. We have some exceptional courses in Ireland, one of which, in a remote and beautiful part of Ireland called Doonbeg, President Trump will tell you a thing or two about it. So, Mr. Vice President, Madam Secretary, Mary and I thank you once again for your warm hospitality, and we thank you for your friendship. As we say in Gaelic, thank you.